One drop of fishing oil in the incorrect location and you might be throwing this fishing reel in the dumpster. Hey guys, Randy here with Aquaholic Fishing. On today's episode, I'm going to show you how to properly lubricate your spinning fishing reel and how to make it last for years to come. Your spinning reel might look fine, but if it's dry, dirty, or grinding, you're losing casting distance and risking damage every trip out. Today, I'll show you how to lubricate your spinning reel the right way so it stays buttery smooth for years to come. Guys, first off, we're going to need some tools and materials. Get your reel oil. If you're going to go a little bit further, you're going to need some reel grease as well. The reel oil I prefer is Lucas. It's never let me down. It's fairly inexpensive. It's a good quality product. You're going to need some small screwdrivers and or Torx wrenches, soft cloths or microfiber towels, cotton swabs or small paint brushes, maybe even a small brush. You're going to need a spray bottle. You're going to need some water, or you're going to need something some way, shape, or form to apply water onto your fishing reel for cleaning. We all need to be calling things correctly by their name. If we call the manufacturer and we order a part, we need to know exactly the part number or the name of the part on the reel that we're talking about. Let's quickly go over some parts to the reel and their proper names. This is the body of your fishing reel. This is the drag adjustment knob. This is your line roller. This is your bail release arm. This is your fishing reel handle. This is your fishing reel handle knob. The handle can be on the left side or the right side of this fishing reel. If you have salt, sand, or something like that all over your fishing reel, and you decide to blast it with a pressure washer or a high pressure hose or even your garden hose outside with a spray nozzle, you're possibly going to embed that stuff deeper into your reel, into your gears, or into some of those ports and bearings, and it's going to cause massive problems in the future. I like to use a little spray bottle with some water and a microfiber towel. I just wet the microfiber towel and give it a good wipe down before I start to do any maintenance. We're just going to clean off the entire fishing reel. Get any kind of deposits, any hardness, any debris, any sand, any silt, anything like that. We're just trying to get all of that stuff off as best we can. So as we start to clean and maintain the reel inside, on the internal components, we're not getting any of that stuff down inside of our gears or anything else. All right, we got that cleaned up as best we could. I'm very, very hard on my fishing gear, so I have to clean these a little more often than most people. I'd advise you to kind of go through this maintenance at least once a month. Do better than I do, because honestly, I do not maintain this the way that I should. First, we're going to take this drag adjustment knob here, and we're going to counterclockwise motion until we can pull this spool completely off of the body of the fishing reel itself. Once we do that, we're going to take a look up inside there. Be careful when you take this off, because down here on your rotor assembly, you do have friction washers, things of that nature that might come off. There's also springs and all kinds of good stuff up inside of these housings. They could come off, and you need to know exactly where they go on reassembly. One thing very important about this spool and this drag all together, you do not put any kind of a lubricant in here whatsoever. You can see I got a fair amount of debris up inside there. I'm going to take my paintbrush and I'm simply going to remove this. You could use air if you want to, but remember, air has moisture, and moisture properties getting up inside of your fishing reel is going to lead to corrosion. You can see I do not maintain this the way that I should, and so it was definitely due for some sort of maintenance. If your reel is grinding or crunching or dragging, you've more than likely waited way too long. Mine is not doing that, but you don't want to wait to that point in order to start cleaning these things off and doing maintenance on your reel, because you're just going to cause more and more damage to it the longer you wait. All we're going to do is remove all this dust and all this light debris inside of here, because it makes a huge difference on castability and just keeping things lasting for years to come. Sometimes I'll use a Q-tip, but just be very careful with that Q-tip. You don't want any of that cotton to transfer down inside of your reel or your spool assembly or down inside your bearings whatsoever. Once your drag adjustment knob and your spool are cleaned up pretty good, just set them off to the side. You definitely don't want to apply any kind of lubricants to these or your line. And also a good tip is, hey, my line needs to be changed out right now. Do not change your line out and then do maintenance. Do your maintenance and then go ahead and change your line out. That way you will reduce the chances of getting any kind of oil or lubricants on your fishing line, your fishing braid, monofluoro, whatever it is that you're using. We're going to clean up this main body of the fishing reel, and I'll be right back. We're going to talk about all the lubrication points from this point forward. I'm going to go along before I do any lubrication, and I'm going to tighten up any and every screw. Many folks will go ahead and do this after they lubricate. To me, you're just transferring oil everywhere and making way more of a mess than you need to. You can use any fishing reel oil that floats your boat. I like the Lucas oil products. They've never let me down. I like this little cool little applicator they got there. You don't have to cut anything off. It just direct to the source. Take that cap off, set it off to the side. And the first thing I do, some people are going to have different theories. Shimano is going to tell you to use their products and use an oil and grease from a spray can only. This is the way I do it. It doesn't necessarily mean the manufacturer is going to say to do it. Remember, the manufacturers are in business to make money. The more you do on your own, the less money they make. One drop of oil goes a long ways, guys. I take one drop of oil. Just like that. And I want it to get good and rubbed in, right? So I'm going to close that bail arm, and I'm just going to give myself a couple of turns here. Get that oil up and down on that shaft. I can already feel that lubrication working down inside there. Some will say not to do that because you're going to get oil down into this housing which holds all the grease and a lot of bearings in your gears. Guys, I put one drop of oil. I promise you, if that one drop of oil makes all the difference and displaces all that grease down in there, we got much bigger problems. From there, I like to open up my bail arm. Why do I open it up? Because it spreads these two pieces apart, these hinges. I put one drop on each side. Both of those have a bearing, and we're simply going to open and close this beauty. Just open that bail and get that oil to move around up inside those bearings. I personally like to put a drop on every screw. Next spot. Your reel handle down to the reel knob, there's a little bearing inside here. Put a drop there. How do we work that in? Simply spin this little guy. It's already spinning great. It was stuck a little bit. I just didn't show you guys that beforehand. What's next? Roller bearing. What does the roller bearing do? That thing actually spins, and many people have no idea that it spins. It spins and helps you in tandem with your drag system. If you get a lot of line twist and things of that nature, you might want to look at that roller bearing because it might be seized up. One drop on that roller bearing. I like to put a little bit on the back side over here as well, that bail arm. On your fishing rod, you're going to have where the reel seats to the fishing rod. Most people are not going to tell you to lubricate these. I put a small drop on each side of that frame, and I rub it in. Have you ever taken a fishing reel off of a fishing rod and it feels like it's stuck? Guess what? That'll help you. Don't use too much, because guess what? It's going to be an oil slick factory, and it's going to be a spot where you're collecting dust, dirt, grime, salt, everything else, and it defeats the purpose. What's next? I'm going to take off this cap. Your cap might be on the left side. Your cap might be on the right side. It's always important before you take off the handle to take off that cap first, no matter which side it's on. The reason you want to do that is your handle might be a through pin. It might go through all the way through this body. Whether it does or it doesn't, get in the habit of taking the cap off first. If you get in the habit of taking that cap off first, you will not break any reel handles. If you're using sealed bearings on your fishing reel and you go to lubricate this, you're doing nothing. Understand that you do not want it to go down inside that hole. You can see the frame or the outside of that shielded bearing right there. Putting a drop on there. Going to the other side. Doing the exact same thing. I'm going to put one drop onto that bearing. I'm going to hold the frame of my spool, put my reel handle on. Don't over tighten it, just give it a nice little crank. Now we're going to put this cap on. Something you guys didn't catch me on, when you lubricate that shaft, that thing should be all the way out of the rotor body there. Then we put that small drop of oil. You guys should have taught me better than that. Now we're going to turn that down in there a little bit. That extra drop isn't going to kill anybody. Now we're simply going to take our spool, put it back together on that shaft. Everything is good. We're going to put our spool tension knob back on that shaft, and we're going to screw it down in the clockwise motion. Counterclockwise to remove it, clockwise to put it back on. Remember before you go out fishing next time to adjust your drag, because it is definitely not going to be adjusted the way you want it to. I like my line to be on there because at this point in the game, I can take this over that roller bearing and see visually if that roller bearing is seized up or moving and doing its job. In this case, it's moving just fine. I may have gotten oil on this fishing line when I pulled it through that roller bearing. Like I told you, we don't want no oil or grease up inside of this area or on our fishing line. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back in here, cut that fishing line out, and throw it away. But that's one way of testing your roller bearing to see if it's working. Another way is you can take a small rubber band, put it up inside that roller bearing, and run it back and forth on that roller bearing, and you'll see if it's seized up or if it's moving. So I'm done and I got everything put together completely. All I want to do is pick up my reel and make sure everything, other than adjusting that drag, is set exactly the way that I want it, and everything is feeling good up until the point where I go out and attach it to the rod and throw that next cast. I did not take a before and after picture, but if you take a look at the way that is now compared to the way it looked before I started, internally and externally, as well as the feel of that awesome lubricant penetrating down inside of those bearings and everything else, that reel thanks me now, and it'll really help me when I'm out there pulling in a big fish. Folks, Shimano Vanford reel, a little maintenance and a little care, a little TLC goes a long way with these spinning reels. If you do that, I promise you, when you go out the next time on that fishing bank to hook that giant fish, your gear is going to be ready and primed just like the day you bought it. If you like the content today, guys, please like and subscribe, and we'll see you guys on the next one.